At this time is back. DeSobe here. Excited to be joined by one of my favorite recruiters. Jake Sohn is here. We used to work together. Jake, good to see you. Jake, I liked your
Good to
LinkedIn
see
presence.
you.
Yeah, I like your LinkedIn presence. I feel like you're dropping more tips for candidates these days. How do you approach LinkedIn just in general? How do you see that platform working for you?
I think it depends on the industry that you're in. I think there are a lot of professions like in tech where LinkedIn can be really helpful in finding people and jobs. I think, definitely like it's definitely like more for white collar jobs than blue collar for sure. But I think it can be really helpful like for not just for recruiters, but then also candidates to like get an inside look into the current job market, like compensation, where the locations are, and then like what types of roles are open, just so that you can. I'm always doing that just to like keep myself abreast in terms of like where the recruitment industry is going. Yeah.
And what compels you to respond? I see sometimes you're chiming in on threads. Do you recommend people doing that? Should they only do it under certain circumstances? What gets you fired up and actually typing something in?
It depends, but I think it's if it's like a topic that I'm like really interested in and I'm like really passionate about, like I think sometimes I would chime in if it's a relevant topic, like something that's already in the news already. And then I also like recently like wrote something about culture fit, and I think that was just like a thing that's been pretty like resonate in terms of like working in nonprofit and like for so many years now that I just hear that phrase a lot, and it's just like you know you just kind of know like what that means and what it doesn't mean. So I just kind of wanted to write about that. So it kind of depends, but I think it like one, it like keep it professional, and like number two, like I think if it's like really relevant to the industry that you're working in and people recruiters see that, and or like hiring managers see that, I think that's always a plus.
Yeah, on this idea of culture fit, I think what you're talking about is things you hear from hiring managers. What advice do you have since you've worked with so many hiring managers, so many roles over the years? Like, what kind of things do you want to see hiring managers do better, or some bad habits you'd want them to change?
I think hiring managers need to be better at crafting better job descriptions and crafting better scorecards and rubrics. Like your job description and your rubric should be your Bible. And that's what you should base every candidate on, and not comparing the candidate to every single candidate that you've seen before. Because I've seen that where like, oh, I need to see one more person just to compare. Like, no, you're not comparing this candidate A to candidate B. You're comparing candidate A to the job description that you wrote and see if they qualify. So I think that's kind of what I try to try to like emphasize with hiring managers is like, yes, we like to have options, but the ideal fit has already been written on the job description. So you should just refer back to that. And I think when people think about like culture fit, I think it's when I think it happens when either they have a really strong culture of like really tight-knit group of people that really work well together, and they're worried about like, oh, like I don't know if this person is going to be a good fit, versus like the other way around, like, oh, we have like zero culture, like whatever that definition of a culture means. So I think it's important to like not only like refer back to the rubric that you've created, but then also thinking back about like what is my team missing, and then like look for that.
Are you using AI to generate these rubrics to help hiring managers? Maybe if they're afraid to kind of dig in this way, where they're more used to the kind of casual vibes and feel of it, but you're trying to get them to be hardcore in numbers. What role is AI playing for you these days?
Well, we use AI for sourcing for sure. It's
Yeah.
like built into our ATS. I don't know that we've used AI for like job descriptions and rubrics just yet, but I think that's always a plus when it comes to like working with like newer hiring managers who haven't really written a job description before or like written a rubric before. So, I think it's definitely like AI is not going to take over recruiting. Like it's just like a helpful like assistance. Yeah.
And one of the things I know you think a lot about too is candidates and the habits they have, the habits that make you happy and the habits that drive you nuts. What kind of candidate habits are you seeing that you're excited about these days, or what things when you see an application come through resonate with you, so that folks know who might be applying for jobs or listening to this can think through?
I really appreciate it when it's very clear that the candidate has done their homework. I just recently received an email like this morning with from someone who like specifically referenced what we said in the job description. I was like, oh, like you actually read it and like actually is reflective about like what we are trying to do at Innovate. So I think that's always good. It's like no one number one is like showing that you did your homework about the organization and the position that you're like applying for. I think I don't know that if there's anything that makes me kind of crazy. Um, maybe it's just like the flip side of that, just like being
No.
unprepared. Yeah. And I think when you look at the job market right now, I mean, in education, there's always going to be a teacher shortage for the foreseeable future. But I think when you look at other industries, I'm talking to like my friends who are not getting a phone call back just because the job market is so tough for tech and for other industries right now, including HR and recruiting. Um, I don't know. It's in a weird space right now where um depending on how the next 6 months is going to go, we might be heading into a recession where we might see a lot more laid off folks who are still looking for jobs. And I talked to a tech recruiter, a friend of mine who told me he's just like spending all 8 hours just reviewing applications because he's just getting such an influx of applications that he doesn't know what to do with them. So it really does depend on where you're at.
Do you like when people who are thinking about applying or just have applied reach out to you cold and say like, "Hey, heads up on this app is here," or "Hey, I'd love to talk to you," or does that not actually work very well for you?
I do. I like it just because it kind of brings your name up at the top of my inbox, whether that's LinkedIn or just my Gmail. Just like just even a quick introduction or like just like, hey, submitted my application yesterday. Hope to speak with you or something like that. That's always helpful. And there's we also include our contact information at the bottom of each job description anyway, so they can
Yeah,
always
I always do.
there's always a way to reach out to me.
Once people are kind of far along in the process, what's your advice for folks who are interviewing today, whether on Zoom or face to face?
Yeah. That's hard because it really does depend on like how long the process is and like how I think it's important to like still like show engagement. And I always like appreciate it when people send me an email after their on-site interview and say like, "Hey, that was such a great interview. Thank you so much. I'm still really interested." Like just like having that follow-up each time is I think is really helpful for candidates to do. I had a hiring manager at KIT who said that she doesn't hire anyone if they don't send her
Thank you. Right?
a
Yeah.
written thank you note. Yeah.
It seems a
But
little
I don't
extreme.
know. I
Yeah.
don't necessarily agree with that.
Yeah.
But
The
but I
spirit
think
of
it's
it.
really nice to have that follow up and that engagement. But then also on the flip side, for employers and hiring managers, like let's be quick, let's be efficient, and so that we were able to make a quick turnaround and give our people a decision because they deserve it.
If someone gets all the way through the process, you've been at the end of so many offer experiences, whether trying to close or negotiate. What advice do you have for people if they do get an offer in hand and you're trying to navigate all the different politics that might be involved, trying to get them to say yes?
For a recruiter trying to close,
Yeah. Or for a candidate trying to consider, like, should they negotiate? Should they not? Should they take the offer? What kind of things have you learned over the years?
for a candidate, always negotiate. Always, 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 100% negotiate. I think when you look at the statistics of like how many people are negotiating, it's mostly white men, and they always get it. And I think when you look at the statistics of like people who just accept it, it's mainly just people of color. So I think always, if you, whoever you are, negotiate for sure. Hiring managers and recruiters act very quickly.
Hmm.
Once the final interview happens, you should be making a verbal offer within the next 24 hours. You should be getting on the phone, like congratulating them, both the hiring manager and the recruiter, if possible. That should be happening really quickly. And then also like showing enthusiasm really helps. Like we're so excited to have you. Like you're gonna make such a difference. Like we're so excited about these projects that you're gonna work on, these differences that you're gonna make in our school, like whatever. I think that goes a long way. And then also like I've seen a lot of companies do like swag bags and like welcome bags or like thank you notes and things like that from like both the hiring manager and the HR team. So I think that's also a really good idea too. But then also on top of everything else, like, pay them really well. Give them really good benefits.
To make it easy for everyone to say yes. Just pay really well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Jake, last thing, what if people want to find you on LinkedIn, how can they find you? If people are looking for jobs, what kind of jobs are you offering these days, and where exactly do you work so people can check it out?
Yes, I work at Innovate. We are a really high performing charter network, high school network in LA and Orange County. We operate 7 charter high schools. You can find me on LinkedIn, Jake Sohn, JakeSohn. And then you can also just go to our website and you can find my information there as well.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on. We'll put all that info in the episode description. Thanks everyone for listening. You can catch all the episodes, all the places you get your podcasts, and find Jake and I in stunning 4K, of course, on YouTube. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time.